Okay, so for question 8.3, if you struggled with this question, do not worry because there is an issue with this question. And I'm going to show you what it is as we work through the question, just so that you can understand. And then what I'm going to do is show you what they should have said in order to make it less ambiguous. Okay, so let's read through the question. Given that y equals 4x minus 14 is a common tangent to f of x equals 2x squared minus 4x minus 6, and g of x is equal to ax squared plus bx minus 18, calculate the values of a and b. So what I'm going to do is just illustrate what's going on and why there is an issue and before we solve. Okay, so we have a f of x, which is in blue. It's a happy face graph, and they tell us that there's a tangent y equals negative 4x minus 14, right? Now, and that'll be at a point on f of x somewhere here, right? Okay, with the slope of 4. Now, they tell us that g of x equals ax squared plus bx minus 18. It has a common tangent. Now, my issue with this is g of x could be here, or it could be here, or it could be have the same point. And all of these could be, we could have multiple values of a and b, and it would still work. So what needs to happen is this has to be narrowed down to a point. And so if I was to put it here with the common point, now we can narrow it down because now we would have a point which we could sub into g of x in order to solve. So what this question should have said is, given that y equals 4x minus 14 is a common tangent to f of x and g of x equals ax squared plus bx minus 18 at the same point or at a common point, right? And if we do that, we will not get multiple answers for point A and B. Okay, so they needed to say at a common point. Now we have a common point. It's something that we can actually solve. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so the first thing they tell you is that it's got a common tangent to f of x. So what does that mean? It means that the slope of the tangent is 4, meaning that where is the slope of f of x equal to 4? And how do we find the slope of a parabola? Well, we get f dash of x, right? And so we're going to find out where on this function is the slope 4. So f dash of x is equal to 4x minus 4. And what we can do then is we can sub in 4 because we know that the slope is equal to 4. So this f dash of x is equal to 4 from the tangent. And once we do that, we can solve for x, and we will then have a point. Well, we have the x value at this white dot here. Okay, so the x value here is going to be, when we solve for this, we'll get 4x equals 8, so x is equal to 2. Now we have an x value. Now, how do we get a y value? Well, we simply sub that 2 into the, well, into either, right? So we'll sub it into the tangent, okay, because that's going to be the easiest. So we'll put a 2 where we see an x, and that will give us the y value at that point, right? The y value at that point. I'm taking a bit of time over this. If you know what's going on, that's great, but I am trying to cater for everyone who's watching this. So that's why I'm drawing pictures. Okay, some people would be able to do this without drawing the picture. That's fine. Okay, now we have a point, which is great. Now, if it's a common point, which the question should have said, so that's what I'm saying. That's why I said this. Now we can then sub that into g of x and g dash of x in order to figure out a and b. So let's do that. Let's first sub it into g of x. So g of x is here, right? So G of 2, right? Because it's got a common point. So we can put our 2 in there. And then we get equals A of 2, right? Squared plus B of 2 minus 18. Okay, I'm just being careful about this. Now, the G of 2 is y, right? And what is the y at this? We know that because it's a common point, our y is going to be minus 6, right? And so I get this. Now I'm going to drop the colors now. And so I get 4a plus 2b minus 18. And when I tidy this up, I should get 4a plus 2b. This is a plus here, isn't it? Yes, plus 2b. Equals 12 when I take the 18 across. Okay. So 4a plus 2b equals 6, which means that, yeah, let's keep it at that. So this is b 4a plus 2b equals, did I say 6? It's because in my head I was dividing it by 2, right? So if you got 2a plus b equals 6, that's also fine. Okay, now we know that g dash of x is equal to 4, don't we? Because they've got the same slope, because it's the same tangent. So let's get g dash of x. So g dash of x is equal to 2 times a is 2ax, right? 2ax plus b, right? Because, and then the 18, negative 18 falls away. The derivative of bx, remember anything with an x, that value, the derivative is just the value in front of the x. Okay, but we know some things, right? We know that the slope is the same. So we know that that slope is 4, right? From the tangent. So that we can put in as 4. What else do we know? We know the slope is 4 at 2. So we can sub in 2 for our x. Okay, so we get then 2. Let's put a 2 here. And let's go back to the colors. So we can just see what happened there. Okay, so we subbed in this 2 here because it's a point at which the slope of the g of x is equal to 4, because they have the same slope, because they have the same tangent. Hope that's all making sense. Now let's simplify this now. And so that will be 4a plus b equals 4. Now we have 2 equations for a and b. So I'm going to put those, I'm going to do this one in yellow and this one in green, so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is equation 2 and this is equation 1. And now we simply simultaneous, right? So we subtract 2 from 1, right? So we're going to just say equation 1 minus equation 2, right? And so do you see 4a? That's why I kept it as 4a plus 2b, because then we can just minus them and the a's will go away and we'll get 2b minus b, which will be b, and 12 minus 4 will give you 8. Okay, now when we want to solve for a, we simply write b as 8 into either of these equations. I'm going to do equation 1. So 4a plus 2 times 8 equals 12. And then we get 4a equals negative 4, which means that a is equal to negative 1. A is equal to negative 1. So there is my answer. All right, tricky question. Okay, it's running out of space at the bottom. Okay, so let's see what's coming up. Okay, it was a tricky one. If you liked it, please give it a like, give it a comment if you were able to get it. Let's see, let me just clear this now. So I'm going to leave you with this question here. And it's a cubic functions. So I'm going to do some explanation on cubic functions before the exam. So yeah, check out the next video in the playlist, which will be coming up. It'll be this video. I'm showing you how to do question 9. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one.